Welcome everybody out to our online essential oil spotlight for this week with the lovely Jade Balden.
Woohoo!
The essential oil that we're spotlighting this week is Breathe, or otherwise known as Easy Air Respiratory Blend.
Yes.
So without further ado, I'll introduce Jade Balden.
Thank you. Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome.
So today we're going to talk about Breathe. Do you have any experience whatsoever with Breathe? What are your thoughts on Breathe? Love it?
It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
What are some of your experiences?
It's great for sniffly children,
Snotty kids?
snotty kids. It's one of the go-to oils, definitely, especially during winter. It's good for snorers and people who have sinus issues.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I've heard that it's helped other snorers from snoring less. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
I use it. My little one's asthmatic, and every winter he used to end up in hospital, and they would give him steroids and lots of medication to take. And so one year we were back and forth in the hospital, and I just had enough and said, this is not working. They just seem to be upping his dose every time. Oh, she's on, cool. And so I just I did some research, went through the modern essentials and tried to look at, what I should be doing. So every time he had asthma attack, if we started to see the symptoms of his asthma attack, we would start applying the oils. And I remember one evening, it was early hours in the morning, and he was really struggling. And we were about ready to rush into the hospital. And I said to my husband, I had made a comment, I said, no, Netta, we can do this. I said, we have to have some faith. I said, that's why we're vested in these oils. And we got through the night. So it was amazing for us. It was really good to see how it helped him, and it helped him in a natural way where we weren't feeding all these steroids into his system.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, very, very important. How about you, or anybody else? Anybody else with experience?
I've actually bought the vapor stick to give to newborn babies because they're really they have a lot of fluid when they're born.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how when they're born and they always have the bubbles and stuff coming out.
Yeah, they're breathing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like some things in their lungs.
Yeah. So I think the vapor stick is quite good for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are awesome. All right. Anybody else want to share their experiences?
I actually used the Breathe respiratory drops. I kind of prepared with those when we went to Indiana because it just seems like every time we go back, my husband and I come back with something, and that was this year all the way to the very last. But I prepared with those, and I got the respiratory drops, and I was even had a couple people let him use them. So they thought it was so different than drugstore hauls are different, and I liked it a lot better, and especially I think it's the lemon and thyme, maybe. Melissa, no, it's the Melissa and thyme. It kind of is just soothing because you're just all in a funk in that point of your sickness. So
that's awesome. Thank you. So here's what Jamie was talking about. This is the respiratory vapor stick. Okay, so that's that, and it's like a petroleum, the petroleum jelly vapor rub, but this is a healthy version of it. Okay, so you can just rub it on wherever you need to. So it's kind of nice way to apply the oils, especially for little kids. That's right, Jamie's like, all about little kids. She and her friends, is at that stage in life. Yeah. Anyone else have questions or experiences that you want to share before we get started here?
I can say that I used just the oil, and then I've used the stick, but then I also have the roll-on, and sometimes the roll-on would work differently, like because it has the coconut oil and it makes it stay longer. So like at bedtime, sometimes I would rub the roller just right here, and then I'd put the Breathe, on my chest. And I found like different ways to make it last to where it would work differently. But we used it a lot last year, and then this year, right before the winter. There was just some kind of stuff going around. But yeah, we've used it a lot, and we found that we really did take advantage of the roller a lot more than we thought. I mean, the roller and the stick more than, it's just kind of like a boost to just having it diffused. So, and it smells so good. But anyway, yeah. And it doesn't have that sticky, like, feeling of like the Vicks or those other things, which I can never use them because something in them didn't agree with me. But this doesn't have any kind of negative feelings or whatever.
That's great.
So, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Stacey. That's funny. Stacey, she uses it all, all the Breathe range. If she needs Breathe, it's like everything Breathe. It's very funny.
Breathe is one of the popular essential oil blends.
Mm-hmm.
You can see it comes in 4 forms.
Yeah, so that's wonderful. We have, is it your friend Jean? Your friend is on here, Sierra, is it?
Yes, jumped on.
Oh, welcome, Sierra. Sarah, are you new to oils? I don't know if she can hear us. All right, so you're welcome to ask questions or make comments if you have any, okay?
And welcome to Tom and Marissa for joining us as well.
Welcome, you guys. Alrighty, so Breathe is a blend of cardamom seeds. Cardamom is like a ginger. It's like a family to ginger. It doesn't smell like ginger, but it's a family to ginger. And then we have lemon and peppermint, eucalyptus leaves, melaleuca leaf. So it's Ravensara and Ravensara. Or Ravensara leaves. And I don't know too much about the other two. I looked things up, and there's just not a lot of information.
Dr. Hill knows enough, so we'll just trust
So we trust him. We trust all the scientists there at doTERRA.
And this is another example of having a blend that's like perfectly balanced and everything. We don't have all the single oils, so you can't really make this blend yourself. You can maybe get it a bit close with the eucalyptus and melaleuca, but
yeah. So I really appreciate this oil because I struggled with childhood asthma all my life, and then into my adulthood, and I was taking a lot of steroid, puffers and things, and it wasn't good because my doctor one year, he said to me, he's like, I don't want you to use it, but you have to use it. And he said, the reason why I don't want you to use it is because it will rot your bones. And I thought, oh, wow, that's scary. And a few years after that, I developed arthritis. And so maybe that's related. But anyways, it was so liberating to discover how fast it works for clearing airways. So if you are listening, I'm just going to describe it, but if you can see here on the screen, you just put a drop in your palms, rub your palms together, make a little cup, and then suck through that. And it'll go down your throat into your lungs and open your airways, and just keep sucking. So I remembered when I used to have like 5 puffers all around the house. It was ridiculous because I thought I'm going to die anytime soon if I don't have it next to me, near me. So when I had an attack, I think I thought I'll try this. So I did the drop, and then I had the little cup, and I sucked through that little cup with my hand. And it took me 3 breaths, and it cleared, and I was shocked. I thought, oh, that was it. Oh, that's so cool. I'm alive. And then afterwards, my puffers expired, and I just didn't feel like I needed to refill the prescription. So it was really amazing. And then I met a girl, and her problem was she had chronic asthma all the time, where she had to take preventative medication. And she was complaining about all these colds and flus and stuff, and I didn't know she had asthma too. But I said, hey, try this. And so I gave her my book to read, and my modern essential book, and then my oil. And because I was new at that time, I didn't know to have samples, so I just said, here, try this bottle and take this home. And she took two of them home, and then she came back a week later, and she said, it really works. And she said, look, I stopped taking those medications because I ran out, and I didn't go and fill it up, the prescription again. And she said, I really didn't need it. And then she joined, and she started to use a Breathe on her family. And then about 2 months later, she came back and she said, I lost 15 pounds. And she says, I think it's because of all that steroids and the medication that I didn't need. And I thought, whoa, that was amazing. So that was one of the first experiences I had with Breathe. And then we went to convention, and there was this story of a Taiwanese family, and the mom had an attack. And this little girl, she was like, I don't know, 9 years old, and she rubbed her mom's feet. I mean, she called the ambulance. She rubbed her mom's feet, and she rubbed her to mom's chest and everything. And then, her mom was passing out. And then the ambulance came, and her mom was, she didn't die. So anyway, she told the story, and I was bawling. I was like, this little girl, she knew what to do. So, this is one of those oils that I keep with me all the time, because you never know who might need it and what happens. But that was 7 years ago that, and I've not really needed it for opening my airways like that again. So it's very liberating to have something natural to rely on. Yeah. So it helps break down mucus too. You guys know that. So if you puff it and smell it and huff it, and after a while, if you, have phlegm and stuff, you can, cough it out and spit it out. Yeah, we have a question. Somebody raised their hands. Who was it? Marissa, is that you?
I wasn't a question so much as an experience. There was a friend whose little boy got hospitalized with pneumonia about a year ago, and I found out at the gym, and I said, wait, I've got oils at my office, it's just down the road. So I ran and I got On Guard, Breathe, and they had a diffuser, and said diffuse it on Breathe, and had him rub it on his feet, and he had his O2 levels go back up to normal within 24 hours, and he pulled out his own cannula in his sleep, so he didn't need the oxygen anymore. It was really cool to see it in such a fast acting way, affect this little boy and help him to heal quicker. Doctors at the hospital couldn't even believe it. It's really cool, and I use it a lot for allergies and breathing issues too, because we have pretty poor air quality in our house from the way that the air conditioner system is designed. So like Stacy was saying, earlier with the roll-on, I've got toddlers, so I use it on my toddlers every day and myself. I do it behind the ears too, which I found has been really effective. That was it.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
That's awesome.
Jean?
Yeah, can I just share? I love what you just showed with regards to in the fist cup. I do that, but I was just basically holding it open, and I would have them sniff it. That's their eyes, because the little ones would say, oh, it hurts my eyes a bit. But what I've found was, so after my radiation, so chemo and radiation, I noticed 2 months in a row I was really struggling. My airways, it was just, I felt like my lungs weren't getting the air it needed. And so we did a few tests, and the doctors ended up giving me this steroid that they had to click, and I'd taken for about 3 months. Honestly, when I started reading it and the side effects and things that happen, I stopped taking it after a week. And Breathe, I love Breathe and peppermint, because of my little one uses it a lot. It naturally, it feels like it's just cleaning out my airways. And so when I'm done with him, I start to sniff it and I take it all in. And before I knew it, my airways were like right back to normal. And it was just amazing how something as simple as, and I didn't even think to use it for myself, because he asked me about a ventilator, and I said, well, I'm not asthmatic. My little one is, but I'm not asthmatic. So yeah, so it worked even for me as an adult with all the toxins in my body. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, it does so much more than just open airways. Goes in there, does an extra job of breaking down mucus, of cleansing, and so much that it can do. So, like Marissa says, it helps assist the intake of oxygen, and then it helps with the seasonal threats. Okay, so Breathe is just one of those oils that every family needs to have. And it helps, this is the emotion of it, it helps release the feeling of constriction. Okay, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I was just going to say, a few years back, I was reading about Tylenol and other drugs, not paracetamol, but what's the medication that they give?
Acetaminophen?
Yeah, acetaminophen. There's 20 researchers that directly link that to childhood asthma, because what it does is when children get sick and they have a fever, parents freak out and they want to lower the fever right away. They give their kids a bit too much of those medications, over-the-counter medications, and it basically stops the body from producing glutathione, white blood cells, and so the body takes longer to heal, and it weakens the lungs and weakens the body, and then it increases the risk of childhood asthma. So, but paracetamol is even a worse medication for children when they have their allergies, and that's they tried to explain why children nowadays have more cases of asthma than it used to be.
And when you buy over-the-counter medicine, it has all those list of side effects and everything.
Yeah.
But when you buy a bottle of Breathe, it doesn't, it
Yeah.
doesn't have those side effects. So
No.
isn't it wonderful you have something that you can use that
Yeah.
will work and not
Yeah.
have any of those fears?
I remembered, we had children that had the cold, and I had to take the kids to the doctors a lot because I'm like, I don't know if it's more than that. Maybe it's bronchitis or whatever, so I had to be sure. And, sometimes it's just the cold, but the doctor wants to prescribe a Ventolin. And I'm all, but they don't have asthma, but just in case they develop it, here it is anyways. So I'm all, oh, wow, this is so much better, so much easier. In the middle of the night, you don't have to fret. There's something that you have that you can do for your children. So it feels more empowering as a mum to have something for your children. Okay. Go ahead and just raise your hand and just comment, guys. I love hearing from you. So these are the ingredients: the laurel leaf, aka bay leaf. Okay, it's energizing, and it helps stimulate with stimulating inspiration and creative boldness, and lifts the spirit. Okay, peppermint, of course, is great for mental clarity, opens airways, great for cooling the body. Yep, and Craig earlier said that. Eucalyptus helps open airways. It helps with the immune system. And you can read, I have links here, you can read all about that. Melaleuca is another oil from Australia that is in here. Helps open airways and great for the immune system. Lemon is a wonderful oil to calm the histamines. And you can read about lemon here.
Breaks down mucus.
And breaks down mucus. And then cardamom is a great oil for lungs and the digestive system. Okay, it's our grandma, Jamie and I, we have a teeny tiny little short grandma here in Australia, and she was traveling and she had the stomach bug. She ate something and she said that oil, Jade, it really works. And I thought, which oil are you talking about? And she's like, this one. And I'm like, Breathe. And she said, yeah, I took this one out and I rubbed it on my tummy and it really worked. And I thought, oh, okay, that works too because it has cardamom and peppermint and lemon. Yes, it does. So, I mean, she doesn't read English, but it was, just naturally your body kind of asks for it, and she just rubs it on. So, but cardamom, yes, is very good for the digestive system too. Okay, Ravensara, I don't know if I'm saying it right, has one of the primary components. It has lots of components, but one of the components is limonene, and limonene is a monoterpene, and it's a constituent found in essential oils, of course, mostly citrus oils. But what we like about limonene is it's a cancer cell, has a cancer cell inhibition abilities. Okay, and I put down here grapefruit and tangerine are the oils that have really, really high levels of limonene. But it's in here too, so that's great. And Raven Sarah is another oil that's great for sleep and protects you against environmental threats. So it's a very intelligent blend and really grateful for it. But you can, like these ladies have shared, rub it on your chest, your back, the bottom of your feet, and behind your ears. Okay, and you can use all of the different Breathe products like the respiratory drops. These are quite yummy. My kids steal it and eat it like candy because we won't give them candy at home. And I'm Nazi, yes. And the Breathe rub, and we have the touch. That's what Stacey was saying. She has the roll-on, which is a touch, and it's diluted perfectly for the family. So teach your children to use it. It's not going to be harmful for them. If they're little, then you might keep it out of their way so they don't pour it into their hands and onto their eyes. But I mean, if they're old enough to be sensible, I allow our kids to have full access to our oils if they need it. Anybody want to share? Make comments? Okay, so Breathe is pretty straightforward when it comes to the physical side of things. So sore throats, you can add 2 drops of Breathe, 4 drops of lavender, 2 drops of basil, and mix it together. You can do it with fractionated coconut oil or rub it on externally on your throat. Okay. So that's for sore throats, the occasional sore throats. Does somebody want to say something?
I can say something about
Yes.
with the mucus breaking down. I had a friend recently, and he just had a spinal injury, so he was paralyzed, and we sent him a few different oils, and one of them was the Breathe, and lime happened to be the free one of the month, but lime helps with that. So I told them to diffuse it, let him drink it when he could drink, and the lime, not the Breathe, but and to just rub that on his chest. And he kept on getting, because some of the discs that were ruptured are actually ones that control your lungs. So he wasn't able to cough and get that mucus out, so it kept on creating infections. So before they got the oils, this was just a reoccurring infection over and over and over. And so they got it, and they're like, wow, the doctors can't believe it's like breaking it up, and and then they would stop using it, and then it would come back, and he would say, get that Breathe out, And so they were just amazed, and they said the whole room, they just said the smell from in the room changed the environment and everything. But yeah, it really was so beneficial to doing something that the rest of the medicines that they were trying to get to do that weren't doing. So I explained this is going inside in the cellular level and clearing that mucus and breaking it down so that it's not attaching to his lungs again. So I just thought of that, and it really shows how much it will really break it down when you're just laying there and there's nothing that you can do. But
yeah, amazing. Thank you for sharing that. That's really awesome. Yeah, I remember that friend you said, poor thing. So lemon helps break down the mucus, that's new, and lime breaks down mucus that's in there stuck real good. So the older mucus, that's fantastic. Okay, seasonal threats. So we know that we've got lemon in there, we've got peppermint in there. Those are really good to calm the histamines. So you can apply it right under your nose here, on your mustache, and on the bottom of your feet, and just as often as needed. Okay, so that's easy peasy there. Wintertime support, like Jamie said, you can rub it on your chest, your back, but then also you can do it in a steamy cup. So if you put warm water and then a couple of drops there, and just put your face over that cup and let the steam carry the oils up your nose. And you might want to have a tissue box next to you, so you can, because there's going to be a lot of mucus coming out. Okay. Easy breathing, clear breathing. Like I said earlier, you can put it a few drops in your palms, make a little cup, and then just suck it through just deeply and get it into your lungs and help your lungs open that way. Okay, that's easy. Alrighty. The next one here is for sinus support. Like Stacey said, you can put it on the side of your nose, on your cheekbones, right there. And you can put it on the bottom of the feet too. Okay, but remember, most of the time, sinus is a gut issue, so you might want to use Digest-Zen too. So if it's like a problem that you have long term, it's more likely to be a gut problem. Okay, so in the meantime, you can use the Breathe oil and put it in one of those inhaler sticks. Have you guys used it before? It's kind of fun. You've got a wick inside that you can put maybe 5 to 10 drops of oil in there, the Breathe oil, and then just put the wick inside, and then you have a cover. So you can take the cover out and then block one side of your nose and inhale with the other. So that's kind of fun. Have you used it before? It's pretty easy. Yeah, and it's fun to kind of make your own.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Since it's got lemon in it, does that mean that it's a photosensitive blend?
Yep. Yes, I would say
So
so.
I'm a bit wary of putting it on the kids in the morning because they tend to be out in the sun.
Yeah, I would put it on the bottom of their feet,
Yeah, put 'em on their
and their
feet.
chest. Not on the face.
Not on the parts of
Behind the ears.
the exposed.
Yeah, so in the mornings I use spearmint
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah,
and eucalyptus.
that's good. Yeah, good alternatives. Good
Eucalyptus.
idea. Yeah. I'm saying eucalyptus like the way my mom does.
Eucalyptus.
Yeah. Alrighty. Good thing, Jamie. Be careful not to use it right before you go out in the sun.
Or preferably not on your face.
Yeah, especially children. It's hot. It's a hot oil. But you have that rub, and that I feel like that rub will stay on longer, especially if you put it on your feet and wear cotton socks.
And even with the photosensitivity, if you guys don't know, some of the citrus oils, if you put them on your skin and go out in the sun, it increases your sensitivity of your skin.
Yeah. I have a little bit of a brown spot there.
Yeah, might get a bit more sun than
It's red.
But it's not much. May affect some people more than other people. So it's something you can experiment with, just to be aware with.
Yeah.
Be aware.
Yep. Thank you. Occasional coughs. You can rub it on your chest, your throat, the bridge of your nose, and you can drink lemon oil too throughout the day. That's an easy way to do that. Use Breathe prior to exercise just to get more oxygen. Rub it on your feet. And sometimes people have some sort of exercise-induced asthma like I did. And that was very good to put on your feet to help open airways and keep the airways open even when you're exercising.
And the peppermint in there will help you endure longer in your exercise. There's been studies that show that.
Yeah. All right. And of course the vapor stick, you can use that just like the oil, but on your chest, your back, and on the bottom of your feet. And the good thing is there's no petroleum jelly in there, so that's very healthy.
Which is a good thing for what you're going to talk about next. If you need to get some good solid sleep, that's good to use that.
Yep. For all those people that mentioned snorers, put it on the bottom of your feet. Use it in a 6-hour diffuser, or a diffuser that goes even longer than 6 hours.
Do you mean sleep soundlessly or soundly?
Soundly.
As opposed to snoring.
Yeah. You know that your toes where it meets your feet, that's a good place for it. That's the reflex point for your snoring. Okay, and that will help you sleep better. Okie dokie.
Any questions or anything anybody wants to add?
I love your experiences. It's really good.
Yeah, therapeutic applications for the body.
I've had a lot of trouble with allergies my adult life, and find that Breathe and sometimes the Tri-Ease blend as well help me to have regular or keep me from having regular allergy attacks, I should say. So I used to be to the point where I'd have to take shots to keep from having really, really bad allergy attacks. I have dust mite allergies, which never go away, and they're not seasonal, and it affects you everywhere and all the time. But since I've consistently, daily, morning and night used my oils, I can count on one hand how many allergy attacks I have in a year now versus having them several times a week or every day, which is nice.
That's really good. Good to know. Thank you for sharing that story. I'm sure a lot of people are listening have the same issues too. So that's great.
Can significantly improve the quality of your life, because allergies can get you down in a lot of ways where you're coughing and sneezing.
Yeah.
Just makes life
better.
hard.
Oh yeah, I always tell Tom it's like I had a head full of hot, wet cotton, and you just can't think, you can't get things done, you feel miserable. It's, I mean, it really does improve the quality of your life, like drastically. I mean, I'm sure Tom would like to share how horrible I would be when I was having an allergy attack.
You dare, Tom.
You get into that. He's right next to you. Kapow.
I know.
and
Can I just say something about that?
Yeah.
I think that when we do have allergy attacks, it's like you can sort of manage it just with applying oils topically, but it's when you do a really deep cleanse, when you do the cleanse and restore for 30 days, after that, I feel like after your body's cleansed out, you have less attacks because you've cleaned out your body and your body's able to, I guess your organs are able to handle environmental threats better.
Mm-hmm.
Like when your organs get all clogged up, it's unable to handle any threats, so you constantly get attacked by environmental things. But after you do cleanses, like a deep cleanse, maybe more than a month, then you'll find that the time during your attacks is greater. Like you just don't get attacks as often.
Yep.
That's what I find anyway.
Yeah, I experience the same thing. It's just your cells are more tolerant because it's cleaner. It can deal with more. That's great. Yeah. And I know that Marissa, she loves that cleanse. She does it a lot. Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the mind. Okay, the breathe is fantastic. It really is great for the physical body, but it also helps with the mind. And so this is the oil of breath. Okay, from the Emotions and Essential Oil book, the negative emotions that breathe helps us shift out are sad, grieving, despairing, unloved, constricted, distrusting, and closed. Okay, so some of us might feel like just want to run away from the rest of the world, all right, and just, go away from everyone because we don't want to be hurt, we don't want to be sad anymore. And this is a fun, really, really good oil for that. So we don't have to live in that way anymore. So the positive is feeling loved, supported, receiving, open, healing, solace, and embracing life. I think sometimes it's a habit when things get, when we get disappointed and sad, we just trap ourselves into that little, cycle and allow ourselves to be down longer than we ought to. So the the trapped grief energy is stuck there in your lungs. So what you can do is inhale the breathe oil and say, you know, it's safe for me to let go of grief. Breathe out. And then I allow myself to receive in love, and then breathe in. So you keep doing that, and then help your body clear out the negative energy, and then it clears your mind out too. Okay, because sometimes we hold in grief and we feel heavy. We feel like we can't live life to the fullest. So what do you guys think about the emotion side, the mind side of these oils?
I feel like people who do like this oil have a sadness to them, like Jackie. It's the only oil that she uses. And there's this like sadness in her.
So that was me the first year. I just love the breathe because I was so used to the grief. Yeah. Yep.
I didn't realize how powerful this one was. So it's got a lot of great qualities of it.
Yep. Very good. And then the
I
grief
think
is
it's also
that
one
love.
of the more popular oils, Breathe and Deep Blue.
Yeah.
Some people just get really attached to it, and they, like Jamie said, they just like to use this one.
It's the
all
only
the
one I
time.
love. Yeah. So you can see that it's got eucalyptus in there. Eucalyptus is about being well. Sometimes they don't feel like they deserve to be well. They're small, sickly people. Like, that's how they're used to getting attention, perhaps. So I allow myself to receive in love. So, take in love, I guess, or receive love. But that's a really good thing. And I think that, I haven't used Breathe very much in the last 5 years, just once in a while, every now and then when I need something during the winter time, but it wasn't. But the first couple of years, it was my go-to nearly every day. So, but I can see how I've changed, and that'll be you too. When you discover that you don't have to be sad, you don't have to be the victim of something in the past anymore. And, it's no longer something that you need to hold on to. All right. Okay. Anyone else want to add anything about breathe
And emotions.
and emotions? Okie dokie. I see this in my friend. One of her, she's used to be very, sick, and she had a lot of asthma. Now she doesn't anymore, and I can see how she's changed. She allows herself to be loved. She allows herself to have more happiness. So I can see that it's working that way for her. Okay. So should we read that? You want to read that, Benji?
Oh, Stacy was just saying snores. We've left off snores in the body section here. Snores can use it in diffuser to stop some need to add the stick or roller to the nose and then the feet to see the results.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had a few people ask about snoring the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, if it's bad snoring, it's thyme oil and lime oil. Add that to your breathe. So.
And Jean?
Thank you, Jade, for touching on. I didn't consider Breathe to be one to help with dealing with emotions and grief. And just the other night, I was with a life coach, and he was talking to me. He says he sensed a lot of grief in me, and part of the healing, and it's been interrupting my sleep. And we're talking about the fundamentals of why I have a lot of broken sleep, and it was why the doctor wanted to put me on antidepressants. But it's beautiful to see how Breathe can really help with that balance, and I had never even considered that. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that's great. Isn't that wonderful how that we can heal from in that level? Yeah, awesome.
I think as a society we're not used to talking about managing emotions with something physical. So there's nothing else you can take, from the drugstore that will help you in ways with emotions.
Yeah, I mean, and he talked about, the different phases. It's okay to to grieve, and especially after going through what I have. And he said, I can't move on until I deal with the grief. And I said, I've always tried to suppress it or put it to sleep because I didn't want to have to relive it. But, it's a war that I have to break through. I can't avoid it because it's going to keep presenting itself.
Yeah, Groundhog's Day keeps revisiting you. You don't deal with it, right? Yeah, and what you went through just recently, that was trauma. That was trauma, what happened. The way I look at it is there's something good about it. I get to have a special empathy for the people that have gone through it or will go through it in the future, because God has allowed me to experience it. So that's how I view it, as a tool to help people. I feel it, I hear it, I feel what you feel. So that's what I tell people, and then it helps them feel like they're not alone.
Yeah.
So that's a way to find a blessing in that. So the spirit side, okay, this is I love talking about the spiritual healing. So breathe oil is about allowing yourself to live life fully. Okay, so live life. That's the very important thing that the breathe oil teaches you. Some of us are unaware that we're breathing shallow breaths throughout our day. We breathe shallow breaths when we're stressed and we worry. And we stress and worry because we're in a fearful state. And sometimes we're not aware that we're in a fearful state. We don't even know that we're scared about something. It's good to, have friends and spouses to kind of, help you discover that you're fearful about something, talk about it. So when, you have a moment to pause and breathe, and then you can ask yourself questions about your fear. Why am I fearful? What is it that I'm fearful about? And as soon as you're mindful and aware, you can change. In the scriptures, it talks about awake, awake. That's what it means. Wake up. Stop living that life and around in circles. And you don't know why you're holding yourself back. You don't know why you're beating yourself up or being sad. Okay, and this helps you kind of awaken. So like most people, I sometimes forget that I have that power to choose. And so when I feel despair, unloved, constricted, or closed off, I tend to wallow in some of that feeling for a while. And then when I've had enough of that, I kind of, try to get myself to a self-awareness state, just meditating, and then realizing that I can replace my fear with faith and fill my life up again. Okay, so our goal is to keep working on this self-awareness and being honest with ourselves about how we respond to the world. After a couple of months of, meeting Marissa, I was really grateful when she shared one night with a couple of friends at a class. She's like, I was honest with myself, and this is what I discovered. And I thought, wow, these people need to hear that. You just have to kind of sit down and face yourself and just be aware of what you're really feeling, and then just really be honest. And then that's the way we can change and be better. If you're not aware, you don't know that you're holding yourself back. So I was really grateful for that. So thank you, Marissa, for that. And I love hearing it from other people, because I don't want to just be the only one preaching. Be aware, be self-aware. But anyways, this is one of my favorite quotes, you guys, and it helps me keep going. So I envision myself at the end of my life looking back and seeing all the times that I have been brave and I have lived life to the fullest. So just breathe in that breath of life and just keep going. So for the listeners, it's just a picture of these little girls and a lion. And it says, a life lived in fear is a life half lived. And so when you get this chance to live this life, don't waste it living a life of fear. So, you never know. Just go out and, do what you need to do. So I like the breathe oil because it says, life, live it, go. So more breathe for everyone. So what do you guys think? Any thoughts that have come to mind?
I really liked what you said about the not being aware of the shallow breaths that we take throughout the day. Semester of college, we actually had psychologists come and talk to us because a lot of college students, they get really stressed out, and especially like at the time of those exams, there's a lot of depression, happening, and that's kind of what she was teaching us was, um, like you said, resolving it before it gets any worse. Because throughout that semester, they just stress out about that little test, and then finally those big exams hit, and those students, they just get really stressed out, and it can be very, very negative. And so that's what she was teaching us was just taking and she actually like taught us how to breathe deep breaths right. She said a lot of people, they just suck it up in their chest, and she goes, feel it in your stomach, and you should be breathing in your diaphragm. And I'll never forget that. And she just said, a lot of times if we're trying to shut things out, and she goes, just take a minute, close your eyes, listen to things around you, even if it's when you're in the shower in the morning, or just find that little moment to yourself and just take 3 deep breaths. And it was kind of like her showing us how to resolve that and manage stress if it any worse. And so I totally related when I read that.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I tell myself all the time when this happens, I'm like, Jade, did you have enough? So, get over it. Get on with life. Yeah, let it go. Yeah. Awesome. Anybody else? Well, thank you guys. Thanks for coming tonight and being on this call. It's going to be posted on jadebolden.com/breathe. If you share it with your friends, and they can make comments on the bottom there. If you don't have a doTERRA account already, talk to the person that shared this video with you and set up a wholesale account so you can benefit from these oils.
There's the PDF you can download that has all the top recipes in there. If you guys have questions, you listening to this, you want to ask something, feel free to leave a comment at the bottom. You can use it, log in using your Facebook account, and just leave your comments or questions, and be sure to answer them, and everybody else can benefit from your questions as well. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us for the Essential Oil Spotlight tonight, which is Breathe. For those of you who are with us tonight, just stay tuned. We're now going to talk about Cleanse for kids.
Yes.
So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to all of our listeners. Thank you for subscribing and to the podcast or to YouTube, or whether you're watching this from the website or whatever. Thank you for being there. And